All right, now we're going to go over the Ruger SR40 cleaning. Not too bad here. So first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take this down. But first, let me just show you we have nothing in the chamber. So when I pull this trigger, you know nothing's there. We have no magazine in the firearm, so we should be all set. Now the first thing you got to do with this is they say to use something, but I don't like using my finger. There's a little lever in here you got to push down. So hopefully you can see. I'll put my put this right on there, and hopefully you can see in there. You just got to push this guy down. If you don't do that, it's not coming apart. Next thing we need to do is you got this little pin right here, and we're just going to push this out, and that'll come right out the other side here. So I'm just going to set that off to the side. Then hopefully, if all goes well, we can go forward, pull the trigger, and then the slides just come right off. So you have your frame and your slide. And what we're going to do here is we're going to take this spring out and just set this here. And you may have seen the Glock video, but we're going to just take and spray some Ballistol just right down that barrel. And we're kind of just going to let this sit here for the time being. Again, I use the Ballistol. It's a lubricant, protectant, all-in-one, and cleaner all-in-one. And the key thing here is no carcinogen, so that's really good. If you look at a lot of the solvents used for cleaning firearms, they're pretty nasty as far as what they can cause long-term health effects. So maybe some people don't care about it, but anyway, I figure there's no point of taking any risks. So we're just going to spray a little Ballistol on one of these swabs, and we're just going to kind of look anywhere on the slide here where I can see some gun residue. We're just going to wipe that down. Try to get it nice and clean. Maybe here on the firing pin a little bit. I don't know if you can see in here, but I'm just wiping down with my finger and some Ballistol, and just anywhere in here. You know, not drenching the thing. You don't want gobs of stuff, but you just want to get it nice and clean. And so we're just going to oil her down, and then you know, you might want to use, if you're shooting a lot, you might want to use a little brush. Maybe get into some other areas that you can't quite get to just by wiping it down. And then you might want to use a Q-tip, or one of these wooden sticks with the swab on there, and just really anywhere you can see black, just try to get that off. So you can see here what that looks like. That just is going to get it black. That's all either spent gunpowder or carbon. Just want to kind of get as much of that off as you can. And in my case, I try to clean every time after I shoot, and just make sure firearms last longer. I know there's people say you don't need to clean that often, but I think cleaning the firearms is part of the experience of shooting. So kind of just is a little bit relaxing, actually. So get this all nice and clean, and then yeah, we're looking good here. It's not perfect, not spotless, but we're looking pretty good. Now on the frame, I don't usually do too much. The main things I look at is where you have your metal to metal contact. Just try to clean that off. Again, don't be bashful with your swabs. They're cheap, so just use what you need to use. But we'll just keep this nice and lubricated. Get that slide going nice and easy here when you're shooting. So if you see some other areas there's a lot of carbon, you can go ahead and use that. Everyone's got their own little method for cleaning. Some people use different solvents, some use different materials. Anyway, this is what I do. I'm not saying it's perfect, it's the best way, but it seems to work for me. I don't have any major issues, and it's pretty simple and straightforward. So say we're done with the frame here. We'll just kind of wipe off some of this excess oil on the slide, and we're looking pretty good here. So now the barrel, I use what's referred to as a bore snake. Bore snake's real nice. You got this string, and then here you can see it's kind of like you got your brushes built in. Now if you remember, I previously had put the put the oil on our barrel. So what I'm going to do now is just literally take this bore snake and just run it through here a few times. Hopefully the bristles will knock off some of the gunpowder, and then the remaining part of the bore snake will help get some of that oil out. And yeah, just run it through 2 or 3 times. Say your barrel is probably the most important thing you want to take care of. You don't want to get a rusty barrel, or let buildup get in there. Keep that barrel nice and clean is kind of the ideal condition. So there you go. Our barrel should be pretty good. Now what you also want to do is get this feed ramp here. Get this nice and clean and oiled. So right in here, and even maybe use a little bit of a brush here. And again, yeah, let's just get some, get this. And then if you need to, you can use one of these cotton swabs. Don't be cheap with those. Those are cheap too. I order them by the 1,000. And then, yeah, you just clean off the outside of your barrel. Make sure there's not too much oil left on, not too much excess oil. So, all right, now I'd say we're pretty good. I'm just going to try to put things back together. So in this case, you're just going to slide your barrel right into here. Oops. I don't always do it, but sometimes, you can take and just gently wipe off your spring with a little oil. I don't think that's super critical. Again, you don't want to gob the oil on there, make a mess out of it, but, just lightly oil it. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're just going to throw our spring in here and get this right on the barrel. Let me turn this around here so you can see. Put this right here. Okay, there you go. And then what we're going to do now is just simply slide the slide back onto the frame, and we're going to lock this back, and we're going to take our pin here and just throw this in. Okay. Last thing I'm going to do, what I always do, is just take a rag, wipe the gun down, make sure I get any excess oil off. Usually I'll take my gloves off at this point. My gloves have all kinds of oil on there. Again, a lot of people don't wear gloves, but I try to keep the chemicals off my hand as much as I can. So now we wipe this down, it's nice and shiny, and then usually what I'll do is I'll just work the slide a couple times, make sure it's good. And then, yeah. I need to use the magazine for dry fire. I don't have a magazine with me, but anyway, it should be all set and good to go. So there you go. It's the cleaning of a Ruger SR40. Definitely recommend using the ballast stall. And just want to thank you again for watching Nick's Shooting Channel. Hopefully you can like and subscribe and share. And yeah, hopefully you found this useful. Thanks for joining. Have a good day.